Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. Pleasure to be with you as we telecast and broadcast downtown from the lobby of Fairfield Federal. And we've got a guest with us to begin our show today. In fact, both segments of the show today will be people that are familiar to Fairfield Today and our viewers out there. But in a couple different positions we've been able to have her on. We had Carrie Woody first on when she was the head of the Lancaster Transit, public transportation here in the city. And that kind of changed, and we'll go through that evolution. But now she's the Service-Safety Director of Lancaster. Carrie Woody, welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Thank
Madam
you for having me.
Service-Safety Director. Great title.
I do love the title, and I like that you put the madam before it. It makes it sound
That's
so
right.
much more official.
We had Carrie first on many times when she was the, I guess you were the first head of public transportation when that kind of came about under the Dave Smith administration.
Yes.
I don't know if that's been 10, 15 years ago. I'm not sure.
About 15, yeah.
10, 15 years ago. And we had her on many times. Then you took a little break from that, went into the nonprofit world, and then got back into government work as our Service Safety Director with the new administration taking over just the first of this year with Mayor Don McDaniel. And when the mayor took over, you became the Service Safety Director. So you have had some input over the years as the public transportation head of that. You've been in one of those positions. Way more responsibility now, though, huh?
Yes. I told all the employees I'm like a bad headache. They can't get rid of me. I just keep coming back even though, I tried to leave. But it's been fun. It's been really interesting. I thought I knew a lot about the city because I had been with the city for so long.
I'd have to think that would be an advantage because we talked that with Mayor McDaniel too, having been a city councilman and coming through the chairs and sort of seeing how that operates.
Yep. So I thought I knew a lot. I worked for the city for several years. I was on the park board, so I felt like I was very well rounded, but I'm learning quickly there's a lot I don't know.
So maybe I don't know exactly what the Service Safety Director does, other than I know in talking with the police chiefs and the fire chiefs, they sort of negotiate with you. You're involved in those negotiations when their contracts come up. Would that be fair?
That's fair. I am involved in all of the contract negotiations, a lot of all the day-to-day operations. So basically, the mayor is in charge of the city. And then that puts me in charge of the employees. So it's basically day-to-day operations. So I'm working with all the department heads, including police and fire, and then doing all the contract negotiations, all the complaints that come in for the city. I get to investigate all of those, and complaint resolution. I'd say that's probably a very large part of my job. But anything related to day-to-day operations.
How many, I'll probably ask the mayor this too, how many employees do you know, how many the city has?
So around 480.
Wow.
I know, a lot. And they all have to deal with me every day.
Now that includes everything, I guess. Maybe we talk about parks.
Yes.
Sanitation.
Sanitation.
Gas, water.
Yep. Water pollution, transit, your safety forces, utilities, our code enforcement, planning, zoning, building, engineering. We have 24 departments in the city, which again, I didn't realize that until I came back into this position. I'm like, wow, we have 24 departments. That's a lot. Almost 500 employees.
When you were the transit person, that was your world. That's all you had to worry about. So when we look at 6th Avenue down here and what used to be Miller Park, maybe it is still technically Miller Park, but how that's changed, is that moving along well?
It's moving. Just like I think the rest of the world, we're experiencing some problems with getting things shipped in when they're supposed to get shipped in, and
supply chain kind of issue.
That supply chain issue definitely We are no exception to that rule
No.
right now. So going a little slower than expected, I think, but we're still looking pretty good at staying on target. Hoping to be up and running by the fall of 2025.
I was going to say 2025 was always the,
Yep.
I guess, target date.
I think that originally it was maybe a little earlier, but it's looking like maybe late fall at this point in 2025. But we have great staff that are on top of that, very knowledgeable staff. If you know our stormwater engineer, Denise Cruz, who's been with the city for many years.
Had her on the show?
She is so smart and just knows everything, and she's paying attention to every minor detail to make certain that it stays as close to project timeline as possible. And then Mike Nixon, Darren Drum, who are both superintendents of the water,
Right.
wastewater. Again, they're very highly involved and very knowledgeable. So it seems to be going along. I'm going to knock on wood here, Paul. Going along pretty well, and everything is on schedule as close as it can be.
Okay, Carrie Woody, Carrie, the Service-Safety Director as of 1/1/24. So now you're couple of months, almost 2 months into this, month and a half, let's say. Any big surprises getting into this? Because I'm sure, and I know you worked a little bit in 23, sort of the last quarter maybe, with Paul Martin, who was the outgoing Service Safety Director, and of course things change when the calls come to you and they don't come to Paul, and he just tells you, well, this is what I'm doing here. So is it remarkably different or just different?
Just different.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. I've already called Paul. We've already had coffee so that I could go over my entire list of questions
He'd be
that
perfect,
I had.
and I know he'd be more
how
than
did
willing.
you handle this? How did you handle that?
Yeah.
And at the end of our coffee, I said, I'll see you next month.
So you'll have a monthly meeting with him as well as your department head. Okay.
Yes,
I get that.
yes.
I get that. Now, I know there's a building that's being transitioned now down on North Columbus Street. Maybe it was the Essex building at one time right there.
The old shoe one.
Are you kind of engaged in that and following that?
Very little.
Yeah.
I know DDL's been very heavily involved
Right.
in that. Our economic development director, Stephanie Bosco, has been very involved in that project. I know enough maybe to get myself in trouble.
They keep you updated, that's about it?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So I know just enough to get myself in trouble. I've toured it. Since they've started doing their excavating and their renovations, I've been able to tour it, and they are moving along much more quickly than I ever anticipated.
Sure.
It's going to be very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And just to kind of recircle back to the water department, I wanted to say, having grown up only about half a mile from that place and seeing it probably almost every day of my life, how remarkably changed it is. Because when I was a kid, a long time ago, and before the engineers kind of did some things there, when we ever had almost any kind of rain, it flooded in
flooded.
Miller Park. Miller Park was shut down. The only thing open may have been the pool, but no diamonds. Everything was underwater right there. I mean, it was completely different. Then a long time ago, they re-engineered things, and it got much better. But now to go by, just say to sit at 6th Avenue and Memorial Drive and look to your right, everything is eye level. It's just remarkable because everything was in a big hole right there.
Well,
it's so different.
And I'll say it again, Denise Cruz, that was her project, and she made that happen. So
Yeah.
again, when I talk about being blessed with amazing people, she is so smart, and the city's very lucky to have her.
Well, you can just tell her, at least from one person's standpoint, it's I think it looks better. It's hard to tell now, but the building is going on quickly. They've got walls up there, and I see they're building other buildings, and it's going to be and I've seen what may have been the end result with the little trails and things around it. We don't know if
Yeah.
we ever get to that. We'll see. But it's really going to be a nice project when it's completed.
I agree, and we're excited.
Sure.
And it'll be a much better product for the city as well, for all the residents.
I think so.
Much better water quality, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, well,
They've done a good job.
Good reason to be excited about that. And then one thing I just heard recently, and maybe I heard it from you, I'm not sure, but your old job, the what was in Lancaster Public Transportation,
Yes.
LPT, maybe that's what it once was. We see the blue and white vans driving around today, which was your old place where you went to work every day and did that. There's some changes coming up here.
There are. So, big news. If you follow County Commissioner Steve Davis
Yep.
on social media, you may have seen that he has grown a huge passion for individuals needing transportation, especially individuals needing transportation specifically to get to and from work. He has been doing Uber
Yes.
on the side
Right.
and doing a lot of experiments. And so the conversation came up about public transit. And you mentioned that, yes, I started with Lancaster Public Transit. In 2010, we kind of expanded that public transit to service the county.
Yeah, right.
But we were a city department
Sure.
trying to provide a county service. And we did it for many years to the best of our ability. But we know we're limited as a city to provide
Sure.
transportation to the entire county,
Yeah.
right? So, talking with Commissioner Davis, he has been very generous in talking with the city on what it would look like if the county took over the public transit, so that we could, take what we've already done as a city transportation and make it much better and more user-friendly for county residents, so that, again, we can help with that workforce issue. We know that based on several studies, one of the biggest barriers to working is transportation in Fairfield County. So the commissioners are looking at taking over public transit as of July 1st of this year. And it's going to be housed under their Workforce Development Center with Rick Zabrak. He's going to
Sure.
oversee that. And
Seems
again,
like a good marriage there.
it'll be great. He knows one of the biggest questions he gets when employers are looking to move into Fairfield County is, how reliable is your public transit network, so that we can get employees to our work sites. So I think it's going to be a great thing. And although this is near and dear to my heart, I know it's a very good thing for the residents and for public transit to continue to grow.
And probably it's really, if you kind of imagine where that could go in terms of growth, it could be astronomical
Oh, it
in
could
terms
be.
of routes that would be made available
Yes.
with perhaps a bigger budget and more vehicles, more people, and certainly a bigger area that
Yes.
you'll really be responsible for.
Correct. And again, a lot of public transit relies on state and federal grants, right, to help subsidize, and that's what keeps it affordable for the residents to use. But with the county taking over, the city's able to transfer all of the buses and all of everything that we've already been using that was paid with federal grants. And then the space that we use right now, when the county takes over this, in addition to what the city is already contributing monetarily, we're able to give them in-kind donations to continue to use the space and some of those other things, which will then again help bring down more state and federal grant dollars. So right off the bat, it's going to be in a much better fiscal state.
Sounds good. And we've got about a minute left. One thing I wanted to mention, when we first air this show, it will be before the actual State of the City. You might see it after the State of the City as it rolls on all week. But this will be your first State of the City as one of the people involved in that in terms of the Service-Safety Director. You want to tell us now what the mayor will be talking about? Can you really tell us?
I will. Well, let me preface by saying I have the best role ever for State of the City, and that's just being there. And that's the best. All I have to do is show up, eat breakfast, smile, and go home. But the mayor I really like his direction this year. He is actually just giving an update on everything that the taxpayers passed. Levy-wise. So if you recall last year, the taxpayers passed a permanent levy for the Parks Department. They also passed a levy for our safety forces. So the mayor's going to give an update on where we are with those levies and how we're paying and what we're doing with the taxpayer dollars that we're receiving in the city for our safety forces and our Parks Department.
Well, we'll be anxious to hear about that. We'll get the mayor back on after he gives a speech and we can chat that up. But good luck to you in this position. It's a wild job. Good for you to
Thank
have
you.
this. Probably the right
Thank
person
you.
for this job. You're going to do super.
Honeymoon stage right now, so it's great. Ask me in a
Everybody's
year.
saying good. We'll see. Very good. Carrie Woody, the Service-Safety Director for Lancaster, has been our guest today. We'll be back in just a moment.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference. Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
The staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairhope what it is.
the Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster, and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
I believe recovering from self is one of the bravest things that anybody can do, and it is an absolute honor to be able to witness people evolve, grow, find purpose in their lives.
The reason why I do what I do is I love helping people, and I really love to work on understanding and striving to improve the lives of the people in our community. Being in Fairfield County is having a network of people around you.
I like helping veterans, and I think I like that my job is never the same day to day. Every day brings a new set of challenges to overcome and new people to help, so it's always changing.
Community, connections, collaboration. The Fairfield County Way.
I want a doctor who listens to me.
From primary care to specialty medicine, we put your needs first by treating you like a person, not a number. Our primary care team will help you identify your healthcare needs and set goals for success, regardless of where you are in your wellness journey. We care for patients of all ages, with offices that are close to you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
We here at Fairfield DD wish you a happy new year. March is right around the corner, and with it comes Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. This year, Fairfield DD is excited to share that we will have a variety of events to mark this important month. Our 14th annual Celebration of Possibilities will be held on Wednesday, March 20th at 6 p.m. at the Wigwam Event Center in Pickerington. So save the date. Join our mailing list or follow our social media so you can stay up to date on all the happenings.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. Sure want to thank Carrie Woody for joining us and giving us an update as the Service-Safety Director on kind of up-and-coming things in Lancaster, Fairfield County. So many things going on, especially in the city of Lancaster. One of those things coming up in just a couple of weeks, turning to the artsy side of things. And when we do that, we generally talk to Cathy Bitler. Cathy, welcome.
Thank you, Paul. It's great to be here.
You're our arts contact whenever we want artsy things.
Oh.
If it's not you, you put us in contact with the Marilyn Steiners, with the other people in the Garret Players that do that, and that's what this is about, the Garret Players. You've had a ball being involved with them.
Oh my gosh. You know, I told my husband when I retired that I would really like to get involved in community theater. I hadn't done theater since I was 18 years old. And I have found a home at Garret Players. It's just given me and at the last count about 115 actors in this community, an outlet for something we're very passionate about.
And I don't know how long ago, maybe 15 years ago that they started, I'm not sure.
2012.
2012,
was
so
the first
close.
year. Mm-hmm.
And I can remember that was Ron Keaton's
It
time,
was.
and we would have Ron Keaton on. He was sort of the foundational person that loved theater, and I was in a couple plays with Ron early on, even before that. But I didn't know how passionate he was about theater and live theater like that. So he sort of kept this going during the early, leaner years, and now here we are. Fast forward to now, you've got several plays a year. They're packed houses up at the Garret Room at the Fairfield County Library, just a block or so away from here. And these are real events.
They really are, and we are very different as a community theater from Lancaster Playhouse and Ohio University Lancaster, which of course Victor does huge productions out there. So yes, we have our niche that people just seem to have really latched onto, and we're so thankful for that and really excited about the opportunity to perform.
The elevator's working.
The elevator's working.
I understand.
Oh, we're so happy about that.
That's a nice thing that allows people to get up that. Of course, we're talking about the upstairs at the library. The Garret room is where these were performed, hence the Garret Players. So let's talk about what's going on now. Cathy is the director. How many plays you directed now? A bunch?
This will be my third play to direct for
It's
Garret
called
Players.
Finishing School.
It is called Finishing School.
What is Finishing School?
Well, you really have to see the show to find out the tie-in, because when I tell you the plot, it won't make any sense as tied to something that you would think of as finishing school.
Finishing school.
So, but Al, one of the two main characters, will explain it all during the course of the show. But Finishing School focuses on two best friends, Al and Whizzer, who are residents of a senior living facility. Mm-hmm. And they meet every single day at the same time on the same park bench to read the local obituaries, partly to make sure they're not in them, and to basically talk about life.
Sure.
So as you can see from that, Paul, things have become pretty routine for Al and Whizzer.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, one day on their park bench when they show up, there's a young lady. And then Minnie and her mom, Shirley, kind of spice things up a little bit for Al and Whizzer. And the show is absolutely hilarious. Whizzer, played by Jay Batters, who you know, and Jay has done, Jay did Assisted Living the musical with Garret Players the last time we did that for one performance, and then Jay had a stroke. But we're so thankful Jay has come back just as strong, and he plays Whizzer for us. Whizzer is the older of the two gentlemen. Fred Norris plays Al, and just the repartee. And, you know, Whizzer's narcoleptic and hard of hearing, and Al is younger and angrier at his family, and it's just a lot of opportunity to play off very true-to-life moments.
These moments sound like I know people.
Yeah, they're really. You will know people
that have done every one of these things. So I guess that's the time people can say, "Oh yeah, I know that. Was my mom, my dad."
Yeah, absolutely. And then Minnie is played by Samantha Inman. Samantha joined Garret Players for the first time back in December when we did the collaborative show with Ohio University Lancaster Theater and Lancaster Playhouse. And then we have a new player to the show this year. Her name is Karen Tribal. Karen just retired from the library. And so this is her acting debut.
Away.
No, she can't stay away, and really looking forward to working with Karen. And then Linda Kaufman, who has done a number of shows with Lancaster Playhouse, Ohio University Lancaster, and Garret Players, is what I have dubbed the disembodied voice in the show.
I can see that.
Yeah. Well, you know, assisted living center, you've got to have somebody who makes daily announcements.
Sure.
So, yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
So it's Friday, February 23rd at 7 o'clock, 24th on Saturday at 7 o'clock, and then Sunday there's an afternoon performance at 2 o'clock. They're all down just behind us here in the library. And again, if you were concerned about it, had gone to a previous play with the elevator, as Cathy was mentioning there, things are back.
Yes,
the library is back, and that's very helpful.
It is extremely helpful.
Especially with finishing school.
Yeah, especially with finishing school, because how I would have ever gotten a motorized wheelchair up to the third floor of the library is beyond me. I was looking for strong young high school men to do that, but I don't have to worry now. And Paul, I want to take this opportunity to remind everybody that we do not charge an admission fee for plays done by Garret Players, but we do encourage people to make a donation to the Friends of the Fairfield County District Library. You can do that there that night or that afternoon. The Friends really sponsor Garret Players. They make it possible. They pay for the rights to the plays that we do, which can range anywhere from $300 to, last time we did assisted living, it was $2,000. So they cover all of those fees for us. So we encourage people to make a donation to the Friends. That keeps Garret Players going. And then the money that's left over after all the Garret Players expenses are paid, that goes back to the Friends to support things like the winter and summer reading programs, But the things that the library does that they cannot use state funding for. So, for instance, if Becky Shade hosts a training session for her staff, we might provide lunch for the staff.
Nice.
So a lot of great work goes on because of the Friends of the Library, and we hope people will take this opportunity to support them.
And that's worked out to be a great collaboration. Now, will there be cookies at the intermission?
There will be cookies. Yes, there definitely will be cookies. Yes, and the Friends donate all of those. It's a great group of folks on the Friends of the Library Board.
So, is this and now we're well into 2024 now. Is this the first play in succession of your year?
This is the first play for this year. The next play coming up in May, which I will also be directing, is called the Savannah Sipping Society.
Like that.
Yeah, I'll leave that to your imagination. And then we'll be doing one in August that I believe Ellen Simmons is going to direct, but I'm not sure Ellen has kind of settled on that title yet and hasn't secured the rights, so we couldn't talk about it anyway. And we're talking this year about a November show as well. So for us to do 4 shows in a year, plus a collaboration with OUL in December, it'll be a big year for Garret Players.
We talk about this when I talk with the music people I have in, whether it's Stephen Caracciolo or Clarence McCoy with the community chorus. There was a time in Lancaster where if you had some interest in drama, maybe you could do it in high school. And maybe if you went to a college and you had some time, you could do it there, but that was really the extent of it.
That was it.
Well, now music is that same way. You can come back here and be in any number of, and multiple musical events. Well, that's true with playing now. Again, Victor, as you indicated out there at OUL, does a fabulous job. The Lancaster Playhouse does a great job. They have a schedule every year, and certainly the Garret Players for the last 15 years or so have run up all these plays. So there's really a place now in the community and surrounding communities to come in here and perform.
Absolutely. Don't forget about Rise Up Artists, the Rise Up Artist Alliance. It seems like they're doing...
Cosgray?
Yes. Yeah. It seems like she's doing about 5 or 6 shows a year.
Wow.
So those are all just in Lancaster, and then you've got Millersport Community Theater, you've got the Wagnalls, you've got Pickerington. We are a hopping place for community theater in Fairfield County.
It's funny how that just... All of a sudden now it's very current, very hip to do that.
It is.
Yeah, well, you guys got in on the kind of the ground floor of that.
We're very thankful for the leadership that Ron and Donna Keaton gave to this group. They built a foundation on which we're all standing very strongly today.
So it's called Finishing School. It's Friday, February 23rd at 7 o'clock. Saturday, September 24th at 7 o'clock, and Sunday, September 25 at 2 o'clock. And again, kind of the key feature is Cathy Bitler, who is our guest and director of Finishing School, indicated no charge, which is kind of a nice plus that's benefited well. And again, you can sort of thank the library for allowing that to happen.
Yeah. I mean, Donna and Ron brought this idea to Marilyn Steiner when she was the director.
Yeah.
And she said, well, just a couple of things. One, we can't be draining library resources for this, so we are very cautious about when we schedule plays and make sure that the Garret is available, and we really only take 2 weeks to do this, and we're in there in the evenings. And then one was that we weren't putting a strain on the library budget.
Sure.
So
it's important.
Absolutely.
Can't cross funds like I don't want anything. Is Becky back to work now? Is she?
Becky is back to work. We're very happy to see Becky back to work. It's just too bad that while she had knee problems, the elevator was out. And now that she's back with new knees, the elevator's working again.
Well, however that works out, we're glad.
It's okay. We're just glad the elevator's working. That's right.
And again, the library, one of those great, as Fairfield Federal is here, just a great institution that helps so many other areas. When we have Becky on, it's amazing how many things the library is involved in Lancaster and Fairfield County, including certainly the Garret Players. But we see this all around the community. You've grown up here, you've known this your whole life. I mean, what a fine community it is. How fortunate we are.
We really are. And the library, so much more than checking out books.
Yeah,
well,
that is certainly true. When we used to go to the one across the street upstairs, it was just about checking out books. That's all we had. Cathy Bitler, good luck with the director of Finishing School. Sounds like just a whopping fun time.
It is a fun show.
Okay, and again, it's February 23rd through the 25th at the library, the Garret Room up there, 7 o'clock on Friday, Saturday, 2 o'clock on Sunday. No charge. The elevator's back working. No reason not to go. I'm sure you'll have a great crowd, so great success with this, we're hoping.
Thank you, Paul.
Cathy
Appreciate
Bitler,
that.
Director of Finishing School with the Garret Players. I want to thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.